So we're joined from Columbus County, North Carolina by player 302 from Squid Game, the challenge, the Netflix hit series. Thank you so much for joining us, Dajah Graham. We've got a room full here with me at Velma Jackson High School. We're recording this for all of our friends in Madison County schools, Madison Central, Rosa Scott, Germantown High School, Ridgeland High School, the Academic Option Center, and our YouTube channel. So thank you so much for taking some time for us today.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me. Happy to be here.
Now, obviously, we're going to talk about the show with no spoilers, but we're definitely going to talk about that incredible experience. But just as interesting to me is your backstory because you did grow up in a very rural area. We're in a very rural area, and you did not have the easiest time coming up as a little black girl in North Carolina. So just tell us a little bit about your story for those who haven't seen the interviews you had on the series because it was very inspirational to me.
Absolutely. Yeah. So, like I said, I'm from the country, the city I live in, middle of nowhere. We don't even have a stoplight. I grew up obviously with a mother, single mother, raising three daughters, and we didn't have the nicest things. Um, but even so, we were loved. So my mother instilled that confidence in me that I needed. I mean, because I can say like I didn't have the confidence. The person I am today is not the child I was. My mother instilled so much confidence in me, and I started believing what she saw. And that helped me get to where I needed to go. And it doesn't matter where you're from, where you came from. If you believe it and you put that hard work in, you're going to get somewhere.
Yeah, because I always tell these young people that nobody on this planet chooses their parents. Nobody on this planet chooses their talents. Nobody on this planet chooses the color of their skin. But there are so many things that you can control. And it
You
really
can.
is about taking initiative, believing in yourself, and becoming some of the first people to step into certain fields. And I know where you're from, there's not a lot of black women in law enforcement and
Absolutely.
you turned that into you got into a career in law enforcement, which you talk about on the show, and I think really gave us a different side of that because we see all the negative press about police, and some of it is definitely warranted, but it's definitely not the majority. So just talk about how you got into law enforcement and some of those skills that I think people don't understand are necessary. It's not just kick down doors, blow stuff up
Hmm.
like we see on the FBI and all the cop shows.
Yeah, the TV shows, exactly. Exactly. Yeah. So, like you said, there is a distrust in the community when it comes to law enforcement. Like you said, rightfully so. Rightfully so. So I decided instead of being on the sidelines, I want to join and try to make a difference that way. And I stepped into a field dominated by people that do not look like me. They look opposite of me. So in that sense, I mean, I've already have obstacles and stuff. I feel like I had to prove myself even harder than someone else. So like I didn't have room for error. I didn't have room for mistakes. I had to get in. I had to be the best at what I do, and I absolutely did that. So I got into help the community, help people that they don't have the same privileges, or some officers they come from backgrounds to where they don't understand. They think everything's like sunshine, rainbows, unicorns. They don't realize that there are people out here who they come from nothing. So the environment that they grow up in, they're going to think differently than someone who like lived in a bubble. So I feel like I'm very empathetic. I feel like I'm a people's person, and I feel like I can like I can see it from other people's perspectives. I can see it from their point of view, their shoes, and I think that's what made me an amazing officer. I listen to people well, and I don't have biases. I came out and I won Investigator of the Year when I did get promoted to
Oh wow, that's incredible.
investigations. Yeah,
That's awesome. And you mentioned something there because look, we're a rural area. I know you grew up in a rural area, and I was actually interviewed by a magazine last year, and I talked about that there was a lack of access, there was a lack of resources in rural communities, especially rural black communities. And that's not an opinion. I mean, the numbers are there to back it up. So a lot of times, young people, especially young black kids from rural communities, all they know is what they've seen. All they know is
exactly.
what their grandparents were able to do. But there's never been a better time to make something of yourself and to step into a space where there may not be someone. Because I say you can be the first, but you can be the best. And even if it's
Hmm.
not law enforcement, it is amazing. And I know you hit on this a little bit on the series, but I think in any field, if you're someone that is maybe the first at something, it is amazing what you can accomplish. And look, you being the only black female in a situation may actually save somebody's life. It may solve a crime because even though I could be professional and I could be as empathetic as I try to be, somebody in distress that looks like you is probably going to feel more comfortable talking to you. Does
Yeah,
that
and
mean that they, does
that
that
does
mean that
happen.
they, does that mean that they're racist? No. Does it mean that they're evil? No. But at the end of the day, they may be, especially in rape cases. I know I've had a lot of females talk about that. They say, look, that guy might be a really nice guy and want to help me, but things happen to me that I'd feel more comfortable talking to a female officer about. And that could be in any field. That's why, I always tell these kids, don't put yourself in a stereotype. That's why we need
Hmm.
more men. We need more men to get into nursing. That's why we need more minorities in medical research. People are getting misdiagnosed. People aren't patients don't want to talk to a female about some sensitive part of their injury or their sickness, and people are having health issues. So it is so important to step into those spaces and become the first at something.
Exactly, exactly. You made an amazing point. There's people who like they want people who went through similar experiences. They feel like they can relate to them more. They're going to be more open to bring up something to me if I look like them and I probably went through the same things versus someone who they feel like their opinion is going to get shut down. So yeah, we absolutely need more representation. Absolutely.
Big time. And something else and this is my soapbox that I get on as a teacher, and you talked about this on the show, and I thought it was awesome because the communication skills, especially in law enforcement, but in any field, because I have a variety of career goals and college goals in this room right now. And I can tell you, every single one of them is going to require them to be a great speaker and a great listener. The intellect is there, the talent is there, but you can always improve on that. If you
Hmm.
are having to listen to people, you're going to have to get answers. You're going to have to answer questions. You're going to have to sell things. You're going to have to sell an idea. You're going to have to sell yourself. And I know, I'm a lot older than you. I don't want to give away my age too much, but this generation, I think, and I know you have a son, and I know they love the phones. They love the technology. And look,
Oh yeah.
it's cool. I love, social media is the way I found you. I mean, it definitely has its use, but being able to look somebody in the eye, introduce yourself, and being able to say you can solve a problem just by speaking to them. And especially in the law enforcement world, you've got to come in there and take charge of a situation. You've got to listen to everybody and you've got to explain solutions. Or in some cases, put the cuffs on them and take them to jail and explain their Miranda rights. Um, so talk about why that communication piece is so important and no matter what field you go into, because look, you said it yourself in a magazine. Don't let people dismiss you. People are going to dismiss you whether you like it or not. It's not fair. It's not right. People are going to look at you because of the color of your skin. People are going to look at you because of where you're from, because of your gender. But you have to show that, hey, you don't need to dismiss me.
Yeah, exactly. Like I think it's very important to be heard. Like if you hold it in, people are still going to find something wrong. Like you said, they're going to dismiss you. They're going to like find just it's better to say it. Say it, speak your truth, and communication, like you touched on earlier, it's very important. It's very important. You got to think. The entire world doesn't think the way you think. Everyone has different opinions. So it's I think what helps me is that I'm very good at adapting my communication as needed. That's how I solve, a lot of crimes and a lot of crimes, it comes from confessions. Without confessions, I mean, you might not have anything to go off on. So I think listening and communicating well, knowing how to approach someone, when to approach someone, that's very big. There was a quote that someone told me a long time ago, and I've lived my life by it. You can get just about anything you want. It's about how you ask, who you ask, and when you ask it. And I lived my entire life. And I feel like this is why I'm at where I'm at now. Those three things: how you ask, when you ask, and who you ask. That's just adapting your
Man,
communication.
man, and then the other thing about law enforcement is you have to, and again, any field. And I had a guest on this platform yesterday who was born blind.
Oh,
and
wow.
um, and she talked about some ways to work with the blind community. But me and her became friends in college, and I talked about when you get into the real world, you get into any careers type situation, you're going to have to learn to work with everybody. You're going to
Mm-hmm.
have to learn to work with people that may be a different religion, that may be disabled. And she was the first interaction with a blind person I'd ever had in my life, and me and her are still great friends because of that.
Oh,
So it
wow.
really, you have to be able to adjust. And look, we're a small community. You come from a small community. These girls that I have in here with me today have been going to school with the same people their entire life. And that's great because they got a great group of friends and they've done a great job surrounding themselves with positive people. But once you get into the college world, you get into the career world, the real world isn't going to adjust to what you're used to. So especially in your line of work, you've got to be ready for anything, but you got to be able to work with everybody. I'm sure
Hmm.
you've been in a call with the only person that had your back was a white male, and you had to trust him, and he had to trust you. So, talk about how you can really adjust to that because the real world's not going to do you any favors. You got to be ready for anything.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. You're gonna have to just take these leap of faith. I know that it can be intimidating to be the only person of color. Well, it's 90%, well, 100% Black females in your class, correct?
100%.
Yeah, yeah. There's going to be a lot of situations where you're going to be the outcast, and you're going to have to just do your best and stand your ground. Especially if you know what you're doing is right, stand your ground. Um, don't back down. Don't let the way you look, your outside appearance, have any effect on your capabilities. You know what you're capable of. You know what you can do. You know that you can do it well, and eventually that respect is going to come. Now, this is the real world. It may start off, people might try to dismiss you. Do not make yourself smaller. Make that box bigger. That's
There
how I
you go.
feel. And also shoot for the stars. That's another thing. Little me from Columbus County, like I started not to even apply because I'm thinking I'm from the middle of nowhere. Like nobody knows who I am. Now look at me. I'm one of the
Yeah.
main characters on Squid Game, the Squid Game world on Netflix. Shoot for the stars. Like, do what you need to do. I
I
wore
mean,
knotless braids to work. Like I don't care about my appearance because I know the knowledge that I possess. I don't care.
there you go. No, that's a great segue because I wanted to talk about the show. And we won't give any spoilers, even though about half of them here have seen saw the entire
Okay.
second season. And all of us watched the drama. But just tell us about that experience because you were in the UK, and
Yeah.
I had I had three cast members from season one, and they all pretty much said the same thing. They said it was a lot of fun, but the food sucked. You have no idea how long they are actually in there because there's so much setup time with production and them getting footage. And
Yes.
then they said it is cold as you would not believe in them dorms. But tell us about your experience because it was so cool to watch um,
Yeah.
and and see your interactions. And look, even though it's just a TV show, a lot of things that you talked about are things we just talked about because the way you
Absolutely.
built up relationships and the way even though it's an individual game, you got to work as a team. So talk about that experience and how if they haven't watched it, what they can get out of it.
Yeah. So, I mean, yes, we filmed in London, and versus season one, they were like for 8 hours, we're outside playing red light, green light, but you only see 10 minutes of it. So, with our first show, and I'm not going to give away any spoilers, the count, I think it's like maybe 14 minutes on the show, but it took all day. We started at like maybe 4 a.m., waking up, going into the dorms, waiting on people to come. It took about at least 8 hours from the time we went to the dorms to the time the button was pressed. So that's the magic of TV.
Wow.
The relay, the pentathlon, it took two
Yeah.
days to film that. Two
What?
entire days to film everybody in relay. So that's the magic of
Wow.
TV. I know you see little specks of me here and there. A lot of stuff was edited out of why I reacted the way I
Yeah.
did, but it's fun. As far as food, so fun fact, I don't eat chicken. I know that's weird, but I didn't tell them that because I'm not allergic or anything. I just don't like the taste. So for breakfast, we had like oatmeal, no butter, no salt, nothing. Like just it was just flavorless. We had that, and for lunch they would feed us chicken. So I was miserable. But the lunch and dinner can be a hit or miss. Some of it was good, some of it was trash. So, but season one, I think they got done dirty. They got done
Yeah.
really, really bad.
Now, and I think it's cool because every kid now wants to be an influencer. They want to have a platform, and
Hmm.
if they want to have it, that's fine because there's so many great things you can do with a platform. And
Yeah,
you and Trinity and some of these others have just done so many positive things already with your platform, and it's great to see. But I think it's important to understand. We talked about perception. So many times on reality TV, we have seen the black woman turn into the angry villain. And look,
yeah,
even in season one of Squid Game Challenge, how Ashley was perceived and how Ashley
yeah,
was portrayed.
yeah, yeah.
And I've had people from season one said, yeah, a lot of it was true, but a lot of it was, she gave them the
Edited.
opportunity to portray them that way. So, how important is it if you want to have that platform, if you want to be seen, to look, people all over the world are going to be watching me. Millions of people
Hmm.
are going to see this. How do I want to be remembered?
Exactly. And that's a good thing too. I'm glad you brought up the angry black woman point because although 90% of people they love me, of course there's 10% of people they're going to be haters, they're going to take, of course, a white male side, but they don't realize that a lot of stuff was edited out. The reason why I was saying that it was stupid for him to tell me that, he walked up to me saying I started to try to eliminate you. Like, but they edited that part out the show and just have me Like I'm just coming for him because he eliminated my girl. He eliminated my girl and he said, I wanted to eliminate you. Like just messing with me, nitpicking on me, things like that. But of course, but even if I did have a good edit, which my edit's okay, it's actually okay. But even if I had like an amazing positive edit, there's still going to be haters. They're going to come because, this is America. It is what it is. But still, you'll get a platform and you'll be able to speak about what you would like to speak on your platform, and no one can silence you then. It's your platform. You're not worried about that anything. So,
Yeah, and even though, but you haven't made it about you. You've made it more about your message and how you've been a positive influence and say, look, I came from this. If I can do it, you can do it too. Because look, you just said I wasn't even going to apply, but I decided to try to be on the show
yeah.
and look where it's taken you.
And look where it's taken me. Like 2 out of 456 is crazy. Even pushing back, hundreds of thousands of people applied. So it's 2 out of over 100,000. So I mean, yeah, apply, shoot for everything. Worst that can happen is you get told no or not now. Try again.
Now, I do want, they've got me some great questions I'm about to get to, but I had Camila Phillips, star of Real World Boston, on the same platform earlier this semester. And she said that we see reality TV now, and it is very scripted. We got, the Duck Dynasties and the Real Housewives and Love and Hip Hop and all that. But she said, in the 90s, we were 100% real. Our conversations were real. Yeah, obviously they were edited for TV, but we had real conversations and we had real tasks to complete. So for people that maybe have seen or haven't seen the series, how realistic and how scripted or not scripted was the actual competition?
There was nothing that was scripted. We never got a script or anything. Like whenever we would come
Wow.
in, if anything, the audience got more directions than what we got. Like when they were saying rules and stuff like that. Like there were some things we didn't even know. They didn't tell us that. Like we were just finding out, like just later on or as it goes. But then they'll add in like a voiceover. Like for example, with the O twin. Oh, I don't want to give away spoilers. When they were telling him that he was immune, he
Yeah.
that announcement didn't come over the intercom. The eliminated players didn't hear that
What?
announcement. They re-added that back in. So like, yeah, it's not scripted. Everything that we chose to do and say, we'll do it. Now I can say it is edited. Like I might say
Oh
something
yeah.
like, "Oh, I'm not a fan of this R&B singer. Yeah, I hate him." Like I could be talking in the bathroom to somebody about an R&B singer that I hate, but they'll clip me saying that and put it in a part, me looking at another player, and then a voiceover saying, "Oh, I hate him." And I'm like, yeah, yeah, I said I hate him, but I was not talking about him. So that's what it can be edited in that way. But as far as a script, no, they don't say, "Oh, say these words." Nope. But
Wow.
they will. You are mic'd up 24/7, and they will clip you talking. You could be speaking about how you don't like this food. I could just say I don't like it, but I'm looking at two people talking, saying, "Oh, I don't like it." No, like so that's how they edit things. I will say that.
Now, and I had Radika, Robert, and Brownie from season one, and they also said it was hard being without a phone and without any contact with your family. They said, man, we played a lot of cards, we played a lot of dominoes, we played a lot of board games, and we had a lot of conversations. So they said there is a lot of time to kill, but that's really cool. Now, I do have some questions, and these are really good. This first one is Azaya Ray. She's in 11th grade. She's a member of our band here. Wants to be a mental health therapist. Already done some great things to
Awesome.
get into college. But she asked, "What was your favorite part of being on the show?"
My favorite part, I would say, actually playing the real games. You look at the original drama and you always think, "Oh, I can do that." So actually going on and being able to do that, I think that was the best part, playing the games.
That's awesome. I like this one. This is Zakiria Chambers. She's in 10th grade. Already getting some IT certifications, but wants to be a realtor.
Okay.
Um, yeah, and she asked, "What did you?" She's
She
got a
wants to be a
two-part
what? I'm
question.
sorry, the phone broke up.
I'm sorry. She wants to be a realtor. Um,
I have my real estate license. Fun fact,
oh,
that's what I was telling
yeah.
other players that I did, that I was in real estate. So yeah, go for it,
Yeah,
girl.
yeah. I remember you talked about that, and you said, "Well, technically, I'm not lying."
Yeah, yeah.
But she's got a two-part question. The first one is, what did you learn about yourself through this experience?
I learned that I'm a lot more spot on than I thought. Of course, I would second guess myself at times, but especially in Circle of Trust, like everything that I thought, I was on it like that. So I learned that I have good intuition. I need to trust it more.
Wow. And then she also asked, how did you weigh risk versus reward if you thought the game was dangerous?
Good question. So when it comes to volunteering, like for example, they given us option for food or lottery tickets. I don't think anything's worth the reward than playing it safe, getting your food and making it to the next thing. Like even if you get a chance to eliminate some people, what if they're alliance comes back and decides to get you. Like, no, I don't think I didn't. I just already knew that I'm not volunteering for anything. There's no, unless they said that I'm going to be the automatic winner, it's not worth it at all. So
Yeah, I agree. Now, I love this one. Now, this one I will preface, she has seen the entire series and is a huge
okay.
fan of yours. But this is Jasmine McBride. She's a sophomore, member of our student council, wants to be a psychotherapist and go to Georgia State University in Atlanta. And
Oh,
she has a two-part question. She asked, I loved Perla as well. Are you still close with her?
Pearl and I were very close in the games. After the games, I mean, she lives in California. I live in North Carolina. We didn't speak as much, but we got to see each other for the first time since the games in LA, and we had a blast. We had a great time.
That's awesome. Now I'm trying to ask this one without giving a spoiler because I told her no spoilers. But she asked, how did you, are you happy with the way your story ended on the game?
I'm happy that uh, they showed what happened. I'm trying not to give spoilers. I just wish they would have went into a deeper dive
Yeah.
of my story and even all the way through. I wish they would have went into a deeper dive, shown me more, and then also explain um, the later on portion of what happened. But that's what
Well,
I explain on my platform.
well, if people want to find out what you're talking about, they need to watch it. And it's
They
still
need
on
to watch
Netflix
it.
now. They can go back and watch. I like this one. This is Kalia Bullet, one of our basketball players here. They had a game last night.
Okay.
And she asked, what was the biggest risk you took in the game and did you regret it?
The biggest risk. The biggest risk. Um, so oh gosh, it's hard to say without spoiling it. I'll just go to an earlier one. A big risk that I took, I was actually an O. And you've seen the show all the way through.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I had a group of people
Oh
relying on
yeah.
me to pick,
Yeah, I remember you said this. Yeah.
to pick between X and O. And I didn't want that weight to be on my shoulders, but I'm like, nope, I think we need to go to X. And that was the biggest risk because it was a 50-50 at that. And,
Yeah.
you know, it all worked out. So I don't regret that at all. But like I almost had a very different story if I hadn't
Yeah.
have taken that big risk.
All right. I like this one. This is Akila Brooks. She's got a two-part question. She's a senior, going to go to the Mississippi University for Women here in the fall. Also a member of our band, member of our student council. Very long list of accomplishments. And
I
she asked,
see.
"How does it feel going from a small town to being a well-known contestant on one of the most popular TV shows in the world?"
It was definitely it could be a little overwhelming at times because like I said, you come from the middle of nowhere. Although I'm pretty well known in my county because I was the young black cop for a while. But it went from that to like at 3 in the morning, it's like I started getting spam comments. Like as soon as the Netflix show released, people were like just in my comments, just I mean, giving their opinion. Like I said, majority of it was love. So I really appreciate that. Some you have some haters, but because of my job, you cannot rage bait me. I just it's funny to me. I'll laugh. But it was definitely an adjustment. It's definitely an adjustment. But I enjoy it. Overall, I enjoy it.
Now, I like this is a funny question. This is Landria Wilder. She's going to room with Aquila up at Mississippi University for Women in the fall. She wants to be a nurse. Our
Ooh.
student council president, both extremely intelligent. But this is a hilarious question. She asked, "How did your mother react to you participating in a show that could be so vulgar?"
So my mother passed away during the casting process. So
Oh my God.
is yeah, when I first got the call from the casting agent, I had went ahead and told my mom ahead of time that I was like, "Mom, I'm gonna be on Squid Game." But I actually kind of jumped the gun because you don't know at that time, but I'm glad I jumped the gun. So my mother, she was aware that I was going on. She was just um she was just like just I don't know, shocked, and she went to telling everybody. So I thought that was pretty cool.
Well, no, she would have been very proud of what you were able to accomplish on there, and I know your son was proud of you as well. And
Absolutely.
then, and just got one more, and this is Keela and Landry asking this one together. Was there anyone on the show other than Perla that you would consider a great friend, and was there anyone that you definitely considered an enemy?
I mean, obviously, the show did a great job at who I considered an enemy. That player
Oh
183,
man, I
which
was with you. I was with you. I was so glad when he got eliminated.
man, he's
I was
diabolical. I
cheering
just
like I
didn't.
was watching a football game.
So the reason why I was so upset, and this isn't spoilers because it's not shown in the show. He, Faith, and I were friends. We were in a quote unquote alliance, and we said we would have each other's backs. And then you go from that and you turn on us. Why would you play the game so evil and viciously when you're already a millionaire? Whether you win this show or not, you're going to walk away being a millionaire. So why are you playing as if you owe El Chapo money? Like, why are you playing as if you owe the mafia? I did not get that. But outside of the games, we have gotten better. People that I'm close with, obviously Faith and the girl I went against in Marvels, Asia. She and I were very
Yeah,
close.
that was tough.
Yeah. And who else? Oh, a woman named Shamir, player 57. She's one of the ones, like, I kept telling her that we need to leave from O to go to X, but it's like I wouldn't leave because I didn't want everybody's weight to be on me. She grabbed me and pulled me to X because I kept saying we need to go to X. Her and a woman named Mama Carol. She's an older white woman who goes to bat for minorities, like goes to bat. She fights hard and she got no screen time at all. So
Love it. Well, we're almost out of time, and we thank you so much for taking some time for us. But a couple of things before we go. Everybody needs to watch season 2 of Squid Game
watch season
Challenge on
two.
Netflix. It's 9 episodes, great watch, and a few of them have already watched it. And then Instagram, Queen_Days95, TikTok, Days G95. Great follow, really cool content. I know you're getting yourself out there, really cool platform. And I encourage everybody. I'm following on Instagram. I'll follow on TikTok as well. But the last thing before we go, we're getting ready to end our semester, and this is such a great way to end our incredible semester. This semester has been nothing but black female guests in this class. I've never done that, and since I've had this platform since COVID, but I thought it was appropriate because this room right now is filled with all black women, and this is not an opinion. This again, the numbers back this up. Black women are the most educated portion of the United States population right now, and it's actually not close.
Agree.
So,
I agree.
so, so the opportunity is there, and like we said, just because you haven't seen it doesn't mean you can't do it. There's
Absolutely.
never been a better time to do something with your life now because the opportunities are starting to arise. There's more and more people that believe in them, and it's like I told you yesterday, it's never been that they don't aren't smart enough. It's that they don't believe in themselves. So as they start navigating through high school, start making decisions on college, decisions on careers, on families, what can they do to prepare themselves to say, hey, I am good enough to be seen and I am good enough to let people know that I am the best for this position?
You have to believe in yourself. Like, don't just think it, actually believe it and go through life as if that's gold. Like, I'm glad that you spoke on that because I you know, I didn't have the confidence early on, but I got it instilled in me and now look at where I'm at. So take these opportunities and you have to try. Don't just sit up here and wonder, oh, what if, or maybe. Actually go out and do it. Go out and do it. You have a 0% chance if you don't even try.
Love it. Well, again, we thank you so much for joining us. I'm just ecstatic that you are able to join us this close to the season finale. So, again, thank you so much for joining us all the way from Columbus County, North Carolina. Player 302 on Squid Game The Challenge, Dajah Graham. Thank you so much for taking
Of
some time
course,
for
happy
us.
to be here. Thank you guys.
All right. Talk to you soon, buddy.